And sisters, this here is Bulldog Rod. We got Papa Ron over here, and welcome.
Welcome, everyone. That's right.
Yeah, we love doing these videos, and we're going to be talking about a real cool coin that's coming up. It's called Spindle, and it's going to be a good one and an interesting one. So hang around, give us a thumbs up, and if you don't like it, still give us a thumbs up.
Right. This platform, Rod, has more application to people, I think, than any of them we've seen thus far. So, folks, really stick through this. I think there's some interesting things transpiring here with this, and it is an ICO. We'll get into that. It just started yesterday, and it only goes till the 15th. But anyway,
when you say it goes to the 15th, that means after the 15th, though.
I think it goes through the 15th, and they're pretty adamant that that's it. It's 7 days, and it's done, baby.
Wow.
But listen, the way I want to get into this, Spindle Rod, I want to go back and reminisce a little bit about us getting into crypto.
Okay.
And it just doesn't apply to us. Let's apply this to. I mean, there's probably 1,000 new people within the last couple hours looking at crypto now on the internet. I mean, we look back at Coinbase. They claimed that they were having several days. 100,000 people a day were signing up on that exchange.
Well, not only them, but wasn't Polynex? I mean, Polynex, wasn't they also that other one?
Gemini?
They were all claiming that too. Remember, they had to shut down their exchange because of so many people coming in.
Handle it. And folks, we're just now on the cusp of how many people are going to flood into this market. But what we want to touch on today is people that are getting into this. There's basically 4 or 5 things that really hinder them from making sound decisions. And one is just the knowledge of it. I mean, where do you go to, sure, you can YouTube some things and read about it on the internet, but knowledge is key to making sound investments in the crypto world. It used to be real easy, but now there's so many hackers plaguing, and maybe not so many, but that is a concern. So there is risk involved too within the crypto industry. What if
look, Ron. When you and I first a year ago, there was only like 800 cryptocurrencies, and we thought that was astronomical. But now, it's confusing. We don't know which coins to get into, and there's over, God, what did we see? 4,000 cryptocurrencies now.
On CoinLib, there's over 4,000 platforms, I think, that you can.
So talk about something that's mind-boggling. Where do you start?
Yeah. So not only do you have the knowledge, you've got trust issues. Who do you trust? Are these platforms sound? All these, they all have a team and developers and this and that. But so you have risk, knowledge, trust factors, and then there's the experience. You have that learning curve to get over. Just knowing the lingo in crypto can be intimidating.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. What's an ICO or private keys, your seed phrase? I mean, there's just so many things. So, and then we talked recently ourselves, Rod, about picking out the best coins and tokens to invest in. Make your portfolio sound, so you're alleviating some of this risk involved.
Right.
So, and now you got the governments getting in on it too. I mean, it's just mind-boggling, and then the regulations and so on. So as you think about all this, there's definitely need to proceed with caution.
Yeah.
To be cautious and careful, and make sure you understand what you're doing. We've heard some of these horror stories about somebody sending coins and they put the wrong address. Well, those coins could be gone, folks.
Yep.
So this is where Spindle is trying to bridge that gap between knowledge and inexperienced investors, and we still fall within that, Rod, somewhat.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Well,
And you know our comments that we have on our YouTube channel tells us that there are more and more uh, senior citizens getting involved. Because they make comments. Now, it's nice to see senior citizens like me getting involved in this cryptocurrency. And so we have to be careful on this because at least for me, my learning curve is way big.
Takes a lot of time, and that's the benefit you and I have had, Rod, is being retired. We have the time to sit and spend a couple hours learning about something. Most folks don't have that luxury.
Yeah, that's true. With kids and family and wives and husbands and
holding down full-time jobs and all that. So yeah, and that's where, getting back to Spindle, that's exactly right. They're trying to bridge that gap and make to where investing becomes, I don't want to say easier, but it relieves the mind of the pressure of not knowing. They want to help these new peoples, and seniors are a perfect example, Rod. This stuff is so intimidating to a senior citizen. They barely know a lot of them barely know how to use their email and the internet, let alone try to figure out this crypto world.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a problem. Spindle, and now I want to talk about something separate, Rod, and then we're going to tie the two together.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Those that are familiar with traditional ways of investing, like in the stock market and stuff, they have a thing what they call hedge funds. And it's exactly that. They're trying to hedge their bets on which stocks to buy so they don't pick losers. Now, let me explain what that kind of means. And I'm not the expert in all this, but this is the way I understand it, Rod.
Okay.
So if you wanted to pick up a stock, let's say just something tennis balls, and you think the projection looks good on it, you've done some research, but you could dump your money into those tennis ball company and hoping it hits or it doesn't. Well, to hedge your bets, I might go to a hedge fund guy or a fund and say, hey, I want the tennis balls, but I'm going to offset that risk with Nike, Adidas, and maybe McDonald's. So this hedge fund or this fund group offers an array of stocks that you can buy into. You're still going to get some of your tennis balls, but you're going to offset the risk with these other platforms within that fund.
Yeah, with other stocks.
Most people probably don't. That's the traditional way.
Yeah.
Well, and we've reported on a few of these, but now there's groups that are funding cryptos, and they're saying, hey, hedge your bets. If you don't think Digibyte, even though that's your favorite coin, if you don't want to put all your risk in that, let's offset it with another 6 platforms and put that fund together. And then generally there's a fund manager that puts that together and oversees it, and he does the studying of it, and he takes procurement of the tokens and coins and does the wallets and deals with the exchanges. So then you can do that. So these funds or hedge funds for crypto are out there, folks. They're trying to make it easier to offset the risk involved and some of the knowledge and lack of experience. I think I was doing some studying on this prior, Rod, and I saw an article, and I think it said back in November, there was 130 crypto funds available.
Oh, really?
In November of 2017. In February, 4 months later, it went up to like 236 or 245. It gained another 100 funds within 4 months. That's 25 more a month came online. So as I got thinking about that and reading some of these articles, whoops, you okay?
Yeah, sorry.
I kind of think, Rod, this is very well the wave kind of of the future.
Yeah.
It alleviates so much of the risk factor and the knowledge that I'm needed. I can get a hold of a fund group and say, yeah, I like the coins you've picked out. I'm going to put my $1,000 into your fund.
Yeah.
And watch grow. Now, some of these funds, of course, have big minimums and all that, and they just don't work. So that's where Spindle comes in. Now, folks, this outfit, the studying I've done, they have a lot more projects they're working on than just these fund groups. But this is the one that I really think applies to most of us. And so what they want to do is they want to bridge the gap between the inexperienced investor and the fund manager and what he's offering. They want to say, hey, we want total transparency on this fund group. We want to know where they've been. I mean, how's their platform profited? Has it gone up or down? We want transparency. We want to know who this fund manager is, and so on. So Spindle will have that, and then they'll have the investor comes in, and he's going to say, all right, here's kind of my portfolio, and I want Spindle to keep kind of history on me and know who I am, and we're going to match these two together. We're going to say, here's 150 fund groups. Let's see which one kind of fits you. Now, folks, I'm not saying this is going to be a one-on-one, a personal contact to help you through this whole process, but I think there is some availability to assist the investor and these asset managers to come together. Am I making sense with that, Rod?
Yes, you are. I think that'd be awesome. You know, I was thinking even for an old guy like me, it'd be great.
No. Now, folks, and I'm not picking on Rod. You know I love him to death. He's my brother-in-law. And Rod, don't be offended at this.
No, I'm slow at this stuff.
Well, it's not slow, and it's not that you're...
You picked up really fast, but man, it seemed to me like this would be ideal.
No, it is, and that's my point. That's what I was going to say about Rod. There's times that, he still calls me with questions sometimes about a complex wallet or a new exchange, because every exchange, their system of buying coins and tokens vary a little bit. So until you play around with it and get that experience, it takes time. So this is perfect for new people getting into this that doesn't want to throw all their money into Sia coin, for example, or whatever the choice. They can go on this platform, look at the ones offered, get some experience and some knowledge, and say, yeah, I kind of like this grouping here. Now let me find out who this asset manager is and what he's offering. And so then they match together. So that's kind of what this Spindle's all about, folks. And if you go over to, I was looking up too and found this, Rod. This article here on ICO Lancer, and I've looked at them before, but they picked out their top ICO to invest in 2018. And I'm not saying these are in order, but on here, number 4 is Spindle. They're saying Spindle is one of the top ICOs to get into. And folks, let me tell you that I've been looking at this now the last day and this morning. This is the real deal. This just isn't your normal ICO that's coming on here and saying, hey, here's our development team, here's where we're trying to go. No, these guys have got a team that fits what they need. They're doing, matter of fact, that's another thing that I was so impressed with. On the 8th, 2 days ago, they held a webinar. And this is the YouTube. I'm going to put this in the description box, Rod. This is the CEO here. And then she's, I can't remember what her position is, her title. Excuse me for that. But they did a webinar. Show me another ICO or platform that are actually going out there to teach the people what's going on. Anyway, I thought it was great. And then within the Spindle group, they have what they call a Zeta, Z-E-T-A, and that's kind of the thing. It's the tools for the investors. It helps them in helping them make their decisions in where to invest in stuff. And this Zeta thing has got like 4 or 5 stages they're going to go through. We're not going to go through those, folks. It'll just take too much time. But all that is in the white paper that explains. They have some exciting things coming up. We're going to put the link for the white paper and all in there. One of the things that they're working on also, we're planning to, is a Spindle wallet. And of course, you're going to have your portfolio on and kind of, it's just a lot to this.
But they do make it simple. I mean, they try to make it as simple as they can.
Well, and I think that's where kind of crypto needs to head, Rod.
It does.
Just like
it
we were
can't
talking.
be real complicated.
Yeah, and I know everybody's trying to, all these platforms, but by the time you and I invest into, a dozen or 20 coins and tokens, man, look at all the wallets we had to have available and what exchange.
Some of them have to have their own wallet, Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
It is.
These funds and these platforms like Spindle can ease all that pain. Folks, here's their website. Now, I did, when you pull up their website, and this just started yesterday, the crowd sale, so this now appears where it didn't before. And I clicked on it. It started May 9th, only goes to the 15th. Here's what I got. Accessing this website from China or the U.S., and I think I read somewhere else, excuse me if I'm wrong, do your research, Japan also is restricted. So, again, most ICOs, we know, folks, are
restricted to the U.S.
Restricted to the U.S., yeah. Where is it? Okay, so here's their website. To go through here, it's worth kind of reading the direction they're taking. I know we just kind of did a brief on this. They did have a private sale, Rod.
Yeah.
And they reached their soft cap, so we know they're in the ball game. And they're only giving themselves 6 days, I think, to reach their hard cap.
Wow.
What else we need to talk about on this? It's an ERC20 token, folks. So,
that makes it nice.
Yeah, it's on the Ethereum platform. They're probably taking Ethereum and maybe some other way to take Bitcoin, I thought I'd read somewhere. So, yeah, they've got a lot of things. Matter of fact, it's one of those platforms that's forever evolving. As they accomplish one task, as a goal, we ought to add this to this now and make it even better. So they're constantly evolving into this structure that'll benefit and instruct the newbie and match him up with where he should be. Anyway.
Or in our case, the oldie.
That's right. From when I looked at the some other things about the ICO price, Rod, and I might be wrong, but I think depending on where Ethereum's price is, a Spindle or SPD is their token call letters, ranged from like 12 or 15 cents, maybe as high as a quarter. And they're planning to be on exchanges, and they've got some partnerships coming up. I thought I saw in one interview somebody was talking about they've got some partnerships that they can't release yet. They don't want to influence the ICO, but this company's got a lot going on. They're very proactive, and I think there's a need for it.
Yeah, there is. I can see a need for it for my own personal use.
Yeah. Now, after the ICO, Spin will be made available on Windows, and they got some phone apps for the Android and the Apple and all that. What did I see here? Let me read this real quick, Rod. After the ICO, Spindle will be made available on Windows, Mac, and so on. The application called Spindle Service Application, SPA, SPD, the token holders, can use the SPA app to invest in virtual currency hedge funds around the world.
Oh.
And that's just what we talked about.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a guide for new traders and all those that needed some experience and learning. And folks, take a look at it. I think
if you're trying to learn this and you're you're overwhelmed, this can be a real asset to you to increase your assets.
Well, that's what we liked about it. And folks, we don't share a lot of these ICOs and stuff, but when we get a good one on here that is worth mentioning and telling you to look at it,
yeah,
it's got some application. We really do believe this. We're not just throwing junk out there. This is a good one.
It is.
All right, Rod, back to you, brother.
Well, we appreciate you crypto maniacs looking at this. I know I'm going to look a lot further into this. This is probably going to be one of the easiest ways for me to get really big and maybe into the cryptocurrency. Yeah.
I hope you do, Rod. That might really ease my day. You know, it's like being responsible to with a 4-year-old. You gotta, and don't do that. Anyway, just teasing, brother. You can call me anytime.
I'm not. I know you're always teasing me. We just like to tease each other since we were kids, man. Yeah. It's been fun. Well, you guys take care and give us a thumbs up and God bless.